Hi everyone, welcome back to this week weekly market update. Hopefully it's a good week for every one of you. I can understand that somebody might be thinking that it's not a good week to end with because the market dropped alright pretty bad for the last 2 days or perhaps for an entire week. Alright, so as you can see, my first page I'm showing, I think it's the big news. Usually I will show what will happen on the last Friday itself, right? But I will show here because I think it's a relatively big news, and going forward or perhaps for the next week or weeks to come, I think all news will be eyeing on here, and this big news right actually overtake Powell meetings on last week itself. I think he said that the rate may continue to be on the aggressive side. Is hawkish on raising the rate, but because of this news, right, is actually covered away the hot topic, and this becomes the hottest topic at the moment. All right, mainly is because the second biggest bank collapse in US history happened in just 48 hours. So go and Google it and go and read up more, because it's like since the global financial crisis, I think there is one bank, after global financial crisis 2008, I think this bank is a deposit bank that actually failed once again. I think during that time in 2008, somebody might not be in the financials market by then, uh, don't understand that during that time, I think Citibanks also faced the same issue at a point of time, right? So this is actually a big news, and because of this, right, it may actually stop the rate hike. I mean, not stop entirely. I mean, from what people speculating of the 50 basis point down to 25 basis point. Yes, by right, this should be a good news to the market, all right. But the market closed more than 300 point. Uh, then how come? Why is this thing? Because yes, it may stop the Fed for increasing the rate, because when it increase the rate, the debt even go bigger, right? People can't withdraw money from the bank. This is called bank run. This kind of situation where it happened to the bank, it kill off the reliability. All right, it's not trustworthy after all for the bank itself. So people will start to withdraw out the money. But for this bank, right, SVB, right now, if let's say you want to withdraw the money, you are unable to do so, all right, because they do not have cash for you to withdraw their money. And just a side track, SVB, this bank, right, I think it's usually they provide starter, that means new company that start up, they lend that money to them, all right. So I think helping them for the IPO, the private fundraising, as you can see. But right now, because of shortage of the money, they are forced to sell their bonds available for sales bond at 1.8 billion loss. That is huge, all right, for the bank itself. Because of that, a lot of related bank actually didn't perform well, or actually spiked down on last Friday in the market. All right, so if let's say you are holding any of the bank shares, just be watch out. So last Friday, this is one of the news itself, causes the market to come down. As you can see, the three main indices actually all drop. Beside, be it a weekly or a daily, right, both drop, all right, both drop. So because of this, and on top of that, before this thing happened, or the week itself, I think rate hike, Powell is hawkish, causes the market to drop, all right, and causes dollar to go up, and causes the commodity to came down. And that is why when I was referring to oil, right, it didn't perform that well, but it didn't kill off entirely. All right, at this point of time, it didn't kill off entirely. Is the oil is still hovering. We are looking at the chart later. All right, so stop talking about all this. Let's go to the things to watch out next week. There will be a couple of earnings. Big company like Adobe, Pinduoduo. I think JD just mentioned that early last week. If let's say you're on the Chinese ADR shares, FedEx is also important to see. Uh, because it's the logistics side, how well is the economy performing, right? So FedEx, actually people will use that to gauge as well on the economy itself. All right, so let's go to the chart directly. So this is Dow Jones Index. As you can see on last week, the chart is really bearish itself. One big spike of red candle all the way after penetrate below the symmetrical triangle. it came down to the 38.2% Fibonacci, which is close to 32,000. I think it's close at 31,900. All right, it's just 100 point to 32,000. So don't. It may continue to spike on the coming week. It may continue to spike down because the fear is still there, right? Bank run, people will just keep drawing out. But 32,000 is the first support or the resistance level we are watching at, because it's a round figure. Okay, if on Monday market continue to go sour, when it come down very fast, as you realize. All right, it can be two huge candlesticks. So I wouldn't be surprised if it dragged and pulled out all the way to 31,000 or near the 23.6%. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, so if you didn't short here previously, after it break below, right, don't try to catch in between. If there's any pullback, it's a good sign. But based on current situation with that major news, right, I don't think there's any decent pullback, but 33,000 will be the first resistance. All right, 33,000, the 50% Fibonacci will be the first resistance. So let's clear the whole chart again to make it nicer. Let's clear all these. Okay, so all right, so we already break down already, right? So don't need this arrow anymore. All right, symmetrical triangle is done. So where are we looking? This will be the first resistance level. All right, this is the first minor support level, and this is what we are looking at if things go sour, continue to turn sour. All right, based on market sentiment. So it's not. It may have some pullback, may drop. There's a lot of things that we can see, right? But ultimately, where is your risk reward? How do you manage it? It's very important. All right, it's very important, because you can see that even though I long on the oil, right, which I said previously, but because of my stop loss, right, it actually protected me and I gained on this spike down. So win is always override my losses because of the risk reward, and perpetually I'm still in a green zone at the moment. All right, so this is how you play around with tradings. Okay, let's go to a couple of counter. Firstly, we are talking about SVB. So you can see how bad is SVB performing these stocks. All right, so this is the weekly candle. Can you see it used to be 600, 700 stocks, and then it dropped all the way to how bad is the gap down? On last Friday itself, 60%. All right, dropped 60%. This is very, very bad. All right, for the a big like SVB, right? So do not catch the falling knife, whether it is pullback or not. Ultimately, the fundamental side is not in the favor. All right, so do take note. Fundamental is also important when we come to TA, right? TA, we always find the entry point, the exit point, but TA is actually the shape of telling you which trend should it flow. Okay, next counter we'll be looking at is US oil, which I mentioned last week. So like I said, it didn't return off. All right, so this is still hovering, right? It's still hovering, gentlemen. Let me show you. Okay, it's still hovering. To me, I feel that it's a ascending triangle. So this is a nice pickup point if you have entered on last Friday or when it dropped. This drop is due to the hawkish comment, right, from Powell. I think it's on Tuesday or Wednesday, this drop. So if you think that, because of that, I'm going to give a sell call on oil, by all means, if you have a good stop loss in your favor, by all means. All right, so right now I'm still monitoring closely, but if let's say I just follow based on TA, it's a good pickup on last Friday or the day before where it's close to the support level. Okay, so we are playing in this this is called ascending triangle play out, but it's actually on the falling trend. So to be ascending triangle is actually a bullish. If you let's say you go and Google it, what is ascending triangle, it should be a bullish. But to me, if let's say it happened on the descent on the downtrend with an ascending triangle, the bullish is actually written half. Alright, that means it's not that bullish compared to an uptrend ascending triangle. It's 50% off. Okay, so if you want to buy on it, please be careful on your risk. Okay, next counter, we just take a look on DXY, because as you can see, right, So what is happening right now on dollar? Dollar went to one. I think this is dollar index, right? So this is what previously I was speculating on. Sing dollar, right? Dollar Sing, 1.35 hit right now. It came down because USD actually weakened. This is why. Okay, so let me just tell you guys the story of why is this so. As you can see on Tuesday itself, market spiked up because of hawkish interest rate continue. But because on last Friday, due to this bank, right, uh, people think that Powell cannot be that hawkish after all, right? So the 50 basis point rate hike is reduced back to 25 basis point. This is their prediction or speculating on it, and that is why the dollar actually dropped off. Okay, so take note on that. So let's see. Certain counter like Tesla. Uh, if you have been following or watched my video, child fed, I said a bearish, all right, I give a bearish call. Uh, Congrats if let's say you have shorted after the shooting star or after the video. But I give a call after breaking 180 is a more confirmations trade. All right, it's a more confirmation trade. It's a breakdown trade after 180 used to be a support level. So it's hovering. As you can see, there's a double top. All right, break the support line 180 net line and it came down. Okay, so but after breaking the net line, what is the next step? If you know, you know. All right, if you know what you are doing. All right, so I'm not going to mention here. I think I mentioned before. If you have been following me closely, or otherwise you can Google it. But I'm more on the downside for Tesla at the moment. All right, so next few thing, let's take a look. All right, C3.ai. That is what I'll be talking about. So C3.ai. Okay. So for C3.ai, this is what I'll be saying. If, alright, okay, sorry. Okay, so I think I have shared, I have congrats to anyone who have bought or people who do not enter. If you plan to change this week, plan for a better price to enter. Alright, I write this very clearly. Unless you really want a spoon feed, please drop me a text because spoon feed it comes with a price, right? Okay, so take note. After the market gap up, regardless whether it happen on this counter or any other counter, right? After the market gap up 30%, right? You want to chase. The risk is always at your side. There are a few things to take note. Firstly, the you must see on the overall board pictures, right? A hawkish rate causes the market to come down. There's a gap play, there's profit taking, there's news going short selling. So that's why it's not easy to have a second leg up. All right, if you have long previously when I recommended, I mean in my first write up, all right, in my first write up, if you had long at this price, you should have made a profit when it go to 30% at $28. All right, if you didn't cash it out, and you believe to hold, nothing wrong. All right, nothing wrong. Continue to hold. Because to me, I think it's the trend of this industry. It might have shown more upside. For of course, this company may not be making money at this point of time, and it's really sensitive of what really sensitive to the rate hike. Okay, because if let's say they are not making money, they are definitely holding debts. So rate hike is actually adding or piling the pressure to them. But the thing is that if you are looking at long-term perspective, yes, you may say that it can come down, it can go up, whichever way. I wouldn't know as well. But if you think this is the trend, industry, AI is an industry. Yes, C3AI may be benefited from this trade industry because of ChatGPT or whichever, or the new project they're holding up. Then you can continue to do your DCA, right? Dollar cost averaging coming down is actually a good buy price, or for people who have actually missed out previously. All right, of course, for people who actually entered up 30%, take it out, continue do the same method. You're actually more in favor of yourself because you have make a first round of profit, and right now you re-enter. Basically, there's no risk. All right, for people who didn't, can watch out for $20 or $18. This is the two price I'm eyeing at the moment. Once it reach 18, will be a very good entry price. I mean, I wouldn't know. Okay, don't come and blame me. It's all the adult games, so do your own due diligence and Also watch your risk management at what price you want to buy. But at the moment, I'm still holding on these shares. Okay, so just to share with you. Let's see what else. So China A50. Okay, this is I shared previously. China A50 not performing well, right? As you can see on the daily basis, the market, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the market opened at 30,500, 600 came down. Okay, because I said this 35,600 can be the resistance line. So if you have listened and you have read, can you see? May resume upside if it trade and close above this price. But it didn't, alright, gentlemen, it didn't. So on Monday itself, the high is actually 13,586, alright, 13,586. So it's not really above. It closed down. If you have shorted, congratulations. You should have be in the profit till now. Okay, so one last, let me see what else I shared. Okay. Oh yeah, one last thing. Okay, Russia 2000. That is what I want to say. Russia 2000. Okay, so for Russia 2000, I think I used to chart this. Okay, I used to start chart this. I already came down to my level. This 30 April 2022. All right, so I didn't remove her. So let's see where are we right now. Small cap will suffer alone. Okay, so this is previously. Let me just delete the whole thing. I mean, I'm not deleting the important line, but I just delete all the circle. Okay, and why do I bring out Russia? You must be surprising. This is a small cap, right? Okay, from the small cap point of view, as you can see, that 1700 or 1730 or 50 is actually a band that we are looking at closely. Okay, this is what I draw. I didn't draw today. I didn't draw, and then I come here bluff you. This is what I draw yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before, or I think months ago. As you can see, just now the date. So I'm just reusing my support and resistance level. Right now we are looking back at this. Okay, so we can see that for Russia, 2000 small cap actually dropped 8% on this index itself. On a daily basis, it has been spiking down for the last 5 days. Okay, reason being, right, when we talk about interest rate hike, right, hawkish, right, who will suffer the most is actually the small company. Firstly, their earnings is not strong, their debt may be high, they are not reputable. If let's say rate hike, overall market drop, uh, if it tend to rebound, usually will be the big cap that survive, like Nvidia, Amazon, correct, all the big cap. But for the small cap to rebound and survive back, it take harder and more time to do so. All right, so if let's say the 50 basis point really on the, I mean, let's remove SVB on the side, rate hike continue, uh, the one that suffered the most will be the small cap company, and that is why you can see a red bearish candle on itself. So after breaking below, I just give a round figure call 1700. All right, 1700. Once it break below and close below, watch out. Is there any no any hovering between there during a day candle? If not, we may see more downside. All right, and this is gonna happen very fast due to the SVB itself. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say for my last counter today. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this week really market update. So where were we looking at if we really come down? I think the first we are looking at is 1500. All right, it's a big right. All right, it's a big number game. 200 point is huge for small cap, but that is what we are looking at. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Remember to share and like. Remember to follow me. We will talk about the market next week again. Thank you everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.